Guess what? We're gonna do no, not this song.
He's a good guy. Then bury him.
What's up, guys? It is August 3rd, 11:04. We are solo. We're done with that. Solo hosting. Got a few things we want to talk about. Few housekeeping things. We'll get right into it. And if you're joining us today, hit that like and subscribe button. It will mean the world to have you guys' support while we make this content, as this is a side project for all parties involved. We all have other things. I got my dog right here. This is an episode with Jasmine the Pitbull. How you doing today? You did throw up this morning. Stomach not feel well? It's okay. Though we got a few things to do. The easy stuff we can talk about that the headline the show with before we get into actually the meat of the show is sorry, I thought I had myself muted. Damian Lillard trade negotiations have no real traction. We kind of talked about that yesterday. Devontae Graham suspended for 2 games for impaired driving, which he pleaded guilty in violation of law of the state of North Carolina. He'll be able to play after being suspended, 2 games. Warriors don't expect Andre Iguodala to play next season. He's probably going to retire. Montrezl Harrell suffered a torn ACL and meniscus during an offseason workout. Rockets signed Zenith Williams to a training camp deal. He was recently waived from his multi-year deal with the Blazers. Mohamed Gay and Kevin O'Barnor are 2 guys who are in consideration for, not consideration, but are in consideration to make the Raptors roster, but they're on training camp deals. And Justin Champagnie got waived by the Celtics. So those are your top of the hour break news to keep an eye out for. Now, as we continue to go through, actually going to do something real quick that I need to do for peace of mind, but let's just talk right here. The Damian Lillard, that stuff's getting annoying already, and that's why we're really not going to spend too much time talking about it, because I feel like we've all talked about it. We all know what it's about. At this point, it's more of a waiting game than anything else. And I don't know what else we would say that we haven't said. This deal's probably going to go on till September, October. It's going to be the Miami Heat. I don't know what else we need to discuss besides that. It's just been annoying, and that I think all parties involved would like to have this figured out sooner rather than later, because it's just annoying. I think we just want this done. Please, Dame, get traded. Portland's the one holding it up, so I think it's one of those things where we're like, hopefully, it works out. I don't know. It's just hard. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard. It's the same thing with Andre Iguodala. Is he actually retired? It's kind of weird thinking that Andre Iguodala might be retired, and it's heartbreaking, and it's upsetting at the same time, because if you're like me, we've watched Andre Iguodala for so many years. So with him, leaving, I think that's probably really upsetting for a lot of people, not just myself. But let's get into today. We're going to do to start the show off, some Knicks and Thunder offseason recaps for us to discuss. And then we'll go from there, see if there's any news. But before we do that, let's just check out if there's any news on Hoops Hype that we should be wanting to go. Some more Damian Lillard news. Winning the ultimate level of success, I always think about how you said you wrestle with, I always think about it man, but I really do want to win, and I don't think I would go crazy if I didn't, but I really want to win a ring. And the thing that I always come back to is I feel like I've checked the box on everything that makes me feel like I was done today. I've had a successful career because I haven't taken any shortcuts. Damian Lillard said, everything I've done represents success as long as I'm able to keep pushing forward and stand, and I've had a successful career. Obviously, if you win it or if I win it, that will be the ultimate cherry on top. I don't think that means that's what means success. So that's interesting. It's interesting as hell. Also, Serge Ibaka was wow. Nikola Mirotic joined Olympia Milano. We knew for months, but and the sale was confirmed. Wow, John Wall denies Armani Milan conversations. Alize Johnson, like, ooh, here's something cool. Let's go on to Twitter for this real quick, guys. And let's pull this up. Looks like a little cool video. Dame only wants to go to Miami. I know, Karam. We're talking about that, and it's just annoying how it's just gone on for the same thing for a few weeks now. So let's go over here and let's play this. So, yeah, 1 second. I think this is a little cool clip. Let me just mute myself while we do this.
Yeah, I don't know.
Why didn't the Lakers just bring us back?
Yeah, I don't know.
We just won the championship. Why would they go away from it? It would
I
have made sense to keep you. What did they say was, what did they say? We want to get better at the center position. So they went and got Marc Gasol and Montrezl Harrell. That was their way of saying we got younger and better at the position. Now, in my mind, I'm like, we just won a championship. What's better than that?
Right.
But they're thinking what's best for them and the way that they got their business set up.
Didn't work out.
And it didn't work out.
So maybe they think something different now.
I wish they did.
Yeah.
Why didn't the Lakers just bring us back?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think that's to talk about right there. Like they didn't bring them back. Like for Montrezl Harrell's ass. Wasn't it? I guess Marcus was traded right after the championship. For some reason, I'm not. I think Dwight has a. I'm a big Dwight guy, so like, I always feel bad for Dwight. But it's definitely interesting to see how the NBA has changed, over the years. So that's definitely to say it's a bit interesting. But ooh, I like this. Trade rumor rankings. Let's do this before the Oklahoma City Thunder. Yeah, like I said, Richard Kenny, I agree. Valid point by Dwight Howard. It's kind of weird. I agree. I would have ran it back. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But over here, let's do this. So what we got right here is what we like to call the good old fashioned hoops hype. Little, what do you call it? I guess you would say ranking of rumors. So, and I like what they do here. Shout out Hoops Hype for this information. Of course, we always got to shout out our sources, ladies and gentlemen. That's very important. And I think it definitely, for us as a whole, that we're like, I think what we're trying to get after is the fact that rumors for trades are always going to be prevalent at this time of year. So let's talk about it. Now, trade rumor rankings, Damian Lillard, Donovan Mitchell, and more, says that this is from either the pictures from Brad Penner, but this was written by Frank Urbina. So we're just going to go through and react to the rankings from hoopshype.com. Links in the description about, the offseason trade rumors. Obviously, the first one we've heard is Evan Fournier. Evan Fournier, this guy we've literally heard all season long. And the team that is reportedly interested in Fournier is the San Antonio Spurs, a franchise that greatly values foreign players, but they just drafted Victor Wembanyama, so they probably would like to have a French veteran on the team to help, that Victor Wembanyama can feel comfortable with, and Evan Fournier would be that guy. So if I'm the Knicks, I would give them Evan Fournier and 2 second-round picks for, personally, guys, Zach Collins and Doug McDermott. But if they say no to that, I would do Zach Collins and Kem Birch. Okay? That's the deal I would do. What do you guys think of that? I think that's a pretty reasonable deal. Kem Birch, Doug McDermott, they get a backup center and they get a shooter. That's like $19 million. I think Evan Fournier makes like 18. So technically they'd be taking $1 million, but maybe there's not even there. But I've heard a few teams that seem like they could make the playoffs have had interest in acquiring Evan Fournier, one of them to keep an eye on for the Spurs. And the Knicks have been against attaching any additional draft compensation in a Fournier trade. So there is that people were saying that, it's interesting. And Evan Fournier said it would be an honor to play for Popovich. Being with Victor, looking at the Olympics, being able to start chemistry on the court, that'd be great. I like that. Next up, Atlanta with Clint Capella. We talked about that. It seemed like DeAndre Hunter was going to get traded at one point, but look, I've said this for months. You have to trade Clint Capella unless you're really trying to screw over Onyeka Okongwu's next contract and try to re-sign him for cheap. But Okongwu's going into year 4. We still haven't seen him start. Let's get the guy outside. Let's get him to play. Okay, and we know Dallas really want him, and that Dallas aren't done. They're trying to make a deal, but Atlanta wants Josh Green. And then ESPN reported earlier this week that, our man was available in Clint Capella. Now it just comes down to, obviously the idea of Luka Doncic, Kyrie running a pick and roll with Clint Capella would be absurd, guys. I think we can all agree on that. That would be so much fun to watch. But what's the deal? I've said it's Tim Hardaway Jr., Maxi Kleber and maybe like a first-round pick for Clint Capella. I feel like that's a good deal because they're trying to get rid of Tim Hardaway Jr. and the Maxi Kleber would have to be the sweetener. Donovan Mitchell. I personally don't think Donovan Mitchell's getting traded, okay? And him joining down the Knicks isn't a far-fetched thing, but Donovan Mitchell will be extension eligible for the Cavaliers, and supposedly it'd be surprising if he signs it. It makes more financial sense to forego it. And yeah, I mean, he's down. It's going to take a few years, but I guess like a lot of people are saying they just don't see Donovan Mitchell re-signing. I just wouldn't, okay? Like, I just don't see the guy being traded. Plus, Mitchell has said he has no intentions of making Cleveland his long-term home. But it's definitely interesting to say. Okay. Let's go to James Harden. Dude, James Harden's trade rumors are so weird. Okay. It's been like this, what feels like for months. And the latest what we've heard is that Daryl Morey won't trade Harden for anything that doesn't make or doesn't keep them as title contenders, and that the Clippers have been unserious and they don't want to trade Terrence Mann in exchange for James Harden. So the offers that low, it's hard to see James Harden being moved. So I expect him to stay in Philly for another year. And of course, Damian Lillard. It's been going back and forth. We've heard the memos. We talked about it earlier. And, I think it's pretty crazy that perhaps this is why the exact Heat offer for Lillard 3 to 4 first-round picks, one of the team's young players, with Tyler Hero going to a third team, was leaked to The Athletic recently, perhaps by Miami itself. The likeliest outcome appears that Lillard ends up in Miami, who's going to offer more than the Heat. Like, who else is going to offer more than the Heat to trade for a 33-year-old player who might show up disgruntled and will earn $63 million at the age of 36, 37. So there's that. Let me hear your guys' thoughts. What do you guys think? I think it's a wild situation. Now, with that being said, I think just with more and more time, we'll just figure out, what's going to happen and why. I think it's just one of those situations where you know, it's just harder to think about like as of it right now because we're so close to it and we've been around it for so long that I think we overlook. I'd rather trade JaVale McGee, but yeah, the Hawks would not take JaVale McGee for Clint Capella. Let's all be in agreement on that one. And so I think that's the big problem right there. Now I want to hear your guys' thoughts. What's a trade you guys think is going to happen that maybe some people don't think is going to happen? I don't know. I think we're just in a weird situation with all these trades, so it's just so hard to gauge like what trade's actually going to happen and why. Like, I feel like in comparison to where we normally have been in the past, it's definitely interesting to see like who hasn't been traded, who will be traded. But besides that, it's been definitely an interesting offseason. But I, for one, have been intrigued by it. I think it's been enjoyable. But I think last year's offseason was a little bit more boring. Maybe I'm wrong. But we are at like this like Mexican standoff on like what will happen. So I think that's where people are probably getting annoyed. But let's go over here and let's do these off-season rankings that we talked about a little bit, and let's get right into it and talk about it. So the first team that we will do is right here. It'll be the Oklahoma City Thunder, and this team's definitely an interesting one if you guys haven't been following it. Okay, because they're in this position where you want them to succeed, but like, obviously it hasn't been all, I guess you'd say, roses and pixies. Give me a sec. I need some water, guys. Mouth is a little dry. There we go. Let me take a dab too, guys. Just a little dab on air. I think it's definitely interesting to see like the Oklahoma City Thunder though, as they've grown. Like this is a team. I say at the very least they're a play-in team, but I think we got to start saying that they're a playoff team. That'll be closer when we get to the regular season, but Tom Wallace and everyone, there's some good pickups. I enjoy them. So I think it's Vasilija Micic was like one of my favorite players that they added. So I'm so excited for that. And with more and more time, I think we'll figure out what this roster is truly capable of. But with that being said, I think it is after this stab time to get into it. All right, let's get right into today's news. Ooh. I love Kasai Wallace. I thought it was a great pickup. Great pickup. So let's get right into talking about the Oklahoma City Thunder's off-season recap. So with that being said, they brought in Kasai Wallace, Davis Bertans, Victor Oladipo, Ty Washington, Uzman Garuba, and Vasilija Micic. They lost Dario Saric and they waived Rudy Gay. Now, if you guys want to know, the Thunder currently are at, I believe, 17 players. We'll get a confirmation on that in a second. They're currently at 20 players on their roster. All right. And only one of those guys are on two-way. So, from my understanding, they're going to have to cut 5 dudes. And I want to get like a double, basically, confirmation on the roster right now that it is 20 players. Yeah, it's 20. It's like 20 dudes deep. So they have to cut 5 dudes. 2 dudes can be put on two-way contracts, okay? And then that'll leave you, if you take 2 off on the two-way contracts, it's still 18. 3 guys have to basically not it just gets straight up waived. So Isaiah Joe has no guaranteed money. And I love Isaiah Joe, but I'm just letting you guys know they can waive Isaiah Joe and have no dead cap. Just letting you guys know. I love him. Don't think he'll be waived. That's possible. So the other thing is Jeremiah Robinson Earl had no guaranteed money on the season for this year, but he remained on the roster past the guarantee date, which was June 30th, and now the contract's fully guaranteed. So my natural inclination was potentially the guys that they were going to waive. I've said this before, guys. Aaron Wiggins, love him, but they have Kenrick Williams, and they also have, Isaiah Joe that I think gets minutes in front of Aaron Wiggins. So Aaron Wiggins, love him, but he could be a guy. Like, they're going to have to cut players. So being realistic right here, this is a Thunder guy. Like, how are they going to progress? Sam Presti and everybody, they're going to have to figure out, like, how to compete and what the future is, because it's a bright one. The West is deep, though, and highly competitive. And OKC isn't even a lock to be a play-in team, but they got Chet coming back, and he looks like a dog. They got a lot of depth, and Shea is the real freaking deal. Yes, they're missing an interior, like, rim protector besides, like, Chet. But, hopefully Chet's going to be the guy who helps them there. But like I said, it's kind of hard to figure out who's the guys who are going to get waived. I do believe that Victor Oladipo will get waived, so that brings you to 19, and then we can churn like Usman Garuba and Ty Washington both into two-way contracts. So that brings you down to 17? So two guys have to get cut. They just signed Jack White, so I don't think they're cutting Jack White. I think it's Jeremiah Robinson Earl and Aaron Wiggins are the two guys that they have to cut. Maybe Trey Mann. Maybe Poku because he's an expiring and he's been hurt. Maybe Davis Bertans because he's got a player option. But I definitely think it's interesting to see with this team, like, what does that team look going into this year? Because the roster with Vasilija Micic, who was a great signing, love Vasilija Micic, creative passer, older, polished, like combo guard. And then you got Kassan Wallace, who's a pest. But then when we get, it's going to be interesting to see like the end of the year roster, because for me, the Thunder want their entire young core to learn the next season as they take, the steps towards contention. The thing is, they currently have 4 first-round picks in 2024 and 10 in the next 3 drafts, and roster spots and rotations aren't infinite. One player in, one player out. So at some point, a consolidation trade is necessary. They have the type of war chest, for example, to go after Damian Lillard and blow a Miami Heat offer out of the water. But obviously, Damian Lillard isn't the fish that they're trying to go after, because if he was, they probably would have gone after him already. I just think it goes to show that, like, I think, like, definitely this is a interesting team. And like you guys are saying, they want internal competition during training camp. So this is why they have all these players. Like, they're going to be good for years to come. But I do believe Jeremiah Robinson Earl could be gone. I think Victor Oladipo, because of the injury, is going to be gone. I think Ty and Usman, Ty and Usman will be the two ways to join the 3 2-ways that is Keontae Johnson, Ty and Usman, because it's just like good guys to take flyers on. And then you cut Victor Oladipo. So right there, that means you still got to cut 2 more guys. And I think we're agreeing Jeremiah Robinson Earl's the other guy. So I think the last guy you got to decide waiving is Poku, who's in the final year of his contract, which I think he's the easiest to waive out of the rest of the players not named Isaiah Joe. Isaiah Joe's the easiest to waive because there's no monetary hit from waiving him. You don't have any guaranteed money in his deal. So if you waive him, it's just like, cool, bye. So, but I think Isaiah Joe's too good for that. So I really think it's the 3 guys behind after Victor Oladipo, Jeremiah Robinson Earl, and then Ty and Usman being on 2 ways is Trey Mann, Poku, and Aaron Wiggins, with the dark horse being obviously Isaiah Joe. But I think it definitely is going to be interesting to see how it all plays out, because these are definitely teams that, I don't know, it's when you're trying to take that next step, I understand that like it does get, flustering. So for me, I think looking at the Thunder, we just hope that this is a team that's going to be ready to take that next step and, bust through the doors. So I mean, we made a video a while back, just like the offseason recap, saying like they had to cut guys. Not offseason recap, my apology, as monitor, like teams to monitor, because they were going to have to make moves. So that was definitely something that was already in our heads, so it's always interesting to see how everything plays out. But again, I want to hear your guys' thoughts as we get closer to the NBA season. Who do you think is going to be cut? But time will be what tells. So let's get into the next segment, which is, we said we're going to do the New York Knicks. I think the New York Knicks. Lindy Waters, no, I don't think he was released out of his option. I don't think Lindy Waters is coming back, Crom. I'd hate to break it to you, bud. Like, I don't even mean to be rude, but yeah, that shit might not be happening. Now, let's go over here and do the Knicks, I believe is our next one. I said we would do. And here we go. Let's talk about the New York Knicks. It would suck to be a Knicks fan. It wouldn't suck. It just seems like it'd be a lot, ladies and gentlemen. In my humble opinion. Like, it just seems like you'd have to go through a lot. Alrighty, let's get right into this. The New York Knicks offseason recap. Let's get right into it. Let's talk about, let me hear you guys' thoughts. They didn't do too much. Dante DiVincenzo was brought in from Golden State. They lost Obi Toppin and Derrick Rose. All right. And I think it's definitely interesting to see, like, the Knicks, I think they're a team that's exciting to watch, and they've gotten better over the years. And I like the roster. I like what Tom Thibodeau, Leon Rose are doing here. But let's talk about the current roster, what it looks like, and what it could be going into the season. They're currently at 16 players. You can carry up to 20 players into training camp. You can only have 15 on the regular roster and 3 guys as two-ways, which means 18 players. So currently they do have Dwayne Washington Jr. and Jacob Toppin on Exhibit 10's training camp deals, while right now, in a weird way, they have 4 guys signed to 2-way contracts. Trevor Keels, Nathan Knight, Jalen Martin, Dalen Windler, which means obviously one of these guys have to might be converted into a roster spot or because they're really at 14, so they could realistically sign one of the 2-way guys and not sign Dwayne Washington and go about it like that. But I definitely think it's interesting when you look at the team. I didn't know Nathan Knight signed a 2-way with I knew that Jalen Martin had, and Dylan Windler as well had signed a 2-way with so Trevor Keels, I did not know you could sign guys to multiple, over 3 2-ways. So Trevor Keels technically has not been re-signed, but I guess it's been insinuated that 4 days ago they re-signed him officially, according to Roto Baller. But so with that being said, I think it's definitely gonna be interesting when we look at this roster. If we're just right now with RJ Barrett, Evan Fournier is supposedly gone. I think it's the Spurs. So if they do get rid of him, they're going to have 2 roster spots, and they could bring in Dwayne Washington and then Trevor Keels onto the main roster. Because I think Dwayne Washington's like the perfect Jalen Brunson backup. The perfect Jalen Brunson backup. Very similar play styles. So I think Jalen Brunson, Amanda Quickly, Miles McBride, Deuce McBride, and Dwayne Washington Jr. will be the 4 point guards, and then the shooting guards will be a combination of R.J. Barrett, Josh Hart, Dante DiVincenzo, and Quentin Grimes right there. Maybe a little bit of Trevor Keels. And then those guys are also your wings, so they'll play, I don't really think they play like a typical shooting guard. They like playing with like the wings. And then your power forwards are going to be probably Julius Randle, and they like Isaiah Roby, probably a little bit of maybe, Nathan Knight and Dylan Windler there whenever they get called up. And then obviously we know the center rotation, Mitchell Robinson, Isaiah Hartenstein, and Jericho Sims. I just don't see Jacob Toppin making this team. I just don't really see him doing that. I'd be shocked. And I think Trevor Keels is the guy who makes it onto the actual roster. And the 3 two-ways they have are Jalen Martin, who's a freaking athletic stud. Loved him in Summer League. Dylan Windler, who's been injury prone, but he has this perfect stretch 4 body. And then Nathan Knight, who I got to see when he was with my Timberwolves last offseason. So, and with Dante DiVincenzo, Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart all going to the same college, Villanova Wildcats. I think they won a national championship together. I think that was a good pickup. I think the whole team looks really good. I think we kind of have it right here. I really like, them bringing Dwayne Washington Jr. on a training camp deal, which we originally thought was a 2-way deal. I think that's one of the most underrated pickups because I think people aren't realizing how good, how good our man Dwayne Washington Jr. can be in mimicking freaking Jalen Brunson when needed. Like, that's what I get stoked at. So I think it's going to be exciting. It's going to be a good team to watch. And I mean, obviously, when we do the regular season breakdown, like as the regular season approaches, it'll be more in depth. Right now, we're just trying to figure out who's going to even be there. So I think them bringing in DiVincenzo was a huge pickup, a huge get. And I honestly, I don't know about you guys, but I'm excited. Okay, I'm excited for this upcoming season because I think we're gonna see a team that's gonna be pretty, pretty good. Okay, to say the least. I think that'll be what will make it really exciting for us to watch as fans. And New York basketball. New York should be a city that always should be good at basketball, regardless what people think. So for me, I think, yeah. So that's my thoughts right there on the New York Knicks. Let me hear your guys' thoughts. My mouth is dry as hell, ladies and gentlemen. Drier than if I walked in the desert. On God. I was just talking to one of my good buddies that from Texas, and good kid. Good kid. Dude, sometimes you ever think about shit you used to do, and you're just like, how did I used to do that? I should also probably get rid of this bad boy because we're done sharing you, mother fricker. So that should be gone. And now we're here. We're gonna play some games though, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's that time of the day. Let's play some games. And the reason we do that is just because I think collectively, like when we all play these games together, it's like pretty freaking fun, at least in my opinion. So I like to do this every day. It's crazy kind of to think about that we do this like every day. I'm also over here editing something on my phone, just trying to combine time. I actually have to go to my father's house where like a bunch of my not packages, like stuff. I guess it is packages, like boxes, like moving, because I gotta repack some stuff with my mom because she's helping me out, and then I gotta figure out my U-Haul and all of that because that's freaking fantastic. and it'll be exciting. But we're doing Pirtle right now, so let's get right into it. What up, Aaron? Chris, he had something he had to do today. I was aware that he wasn't coming on today. And then Luke is in Colorado with his family on vacation. And then Nick, I have no idea. So your boys over here, hey, I took some time off, guys, when I was in summer league. I was like never on. Those boys held it down for me on this show. So I can't say nothing about them. So okay. I feel like this is dumb easy. It's either like Jackson Hayes or Dyson Daniels. Okay. Kaminga? I don't even know who this could be right now. No. Kyle, Aaron's. Who am I looking at? What are you guys putting down? Oh, that's a good one, Bull. Who was that? Hey, Aaron, dude, I didn't even fucking think about that. That today would have been a great day. I'm gonna wrap up soon, but yeah, here, send it in the Twitter chat, Aaron, and I'll hit you up because I think maybe tomorrow we could have you come on because of I know Luke's not going to be on, but I don't know if Jackson will be. I know Jackson's kind of busy right now, so he's back home in Chicago. So there's that. Ooh, look at this Pitbull stretch. Oh, princess. My little princess. Little princess. That's what she is. You're a good girl. Let's play the last game, guys, and then I'll probably give you my salutations. Dude, salutations. I haven't said that word in so long. Salutations, everybody. And my fantasy league's ready. Is it? All right, here we go. My fantasy league is almost ready, which is exciting, you know. You guys play fantasy football? I don't even know what we're doing terms wise. Everyone's so salty that we're doing a 14-team league now. They're like, too many people. I'm like, what do you mean? Here we go. Gonna upload this to YouTube right here, and let's do crossover. Okay. Hey, girl. Love my dog. Okay. Let's get right into this right here. Crossover grid. Knicks, Suns. Wasn't. What is it, Keon? It's not Keyshawn. Johnson. Trying to think of the Johnson that's Keyshawn. Wasn't Keyshawn Johnson? Suns, Johnson, guard. Didn't he become also the mayor of fucking Kevin Johnson, was it? He's the mayor of Sacramento, wasn't he? Maybe Kevin Johnson. I didn't know that. I didn't know it was Kevin Johnson. The more you know. The more you fucking know. Did Kevin Johnson make an All-NBA team? Oh, yes, baby. I don't think Hito did. I don't think the low-hanging fruit right here. We'll do T-Mac. 18 points in the NBA debut while also making an all-NBA team. Who's going to do the easiest one? LeBron. Pistons, 18-point debut. Andre Drummond have one? No. Greg Monroe. Wow. Wow. Cade? Wow. Fuck this. All right, that's going to be today's Suns Knicks. Amari Stoudemire would have been good. I rage quit. Full-heartedly rage quitted, okay? We'll admit, did not enjoy that. But I do want to hear your guys' thoughts down below in the comment section. What have you guys been thinking about a lot of the other guys around the league that, maybe we haven't heard about, rumors or whatever it may be? I am genuinely curious to hear your guys' thoughts, but I think that's where we're going to leave today's episode. Thank you for watching, and yeah, have a good one, guys. Peace out.